Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. Take It from the Iron Woman, we only have special guests, and today we go to Maine. Val Lovelace. We met each other at Nestle. It seems like an eternity ago. But thanks to social media, we have kept in contact. When you read her biography, I only will capture a few things. Val is the founder and executive director of the Maine Death with Dignity. She's a retired Navy veteran of 20 years. She holds a Master's of Science degree in Human Relations and a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Technology. She has been ordained in June of 2022. When she's not doing the desk stuff, as her son describes her, she spends time enjoying two amazing grandsons and working on a variety of creative projects. But then I forgot, you're also an accomplished artist and a writer. What else can we add here? Maybe Val, give us some insight. What haven't we added here to that list?
Oh my goodness. Well, as I listen to all of that, I would like to meet that person.
Sure.
I have been so blessed in my life to do so many things. I'm essentially on my third career working with Death with Dignity. It is so amazing and so humbling to be doing this end of life work here in Maine and to be of service that way. I guess I'm lucky. I'm a lucky person.
I always think luck is you're also out there. When I was thinking of you when we were working together, people gravitated to you. That's how I observed it. People were asking you questions and it felt like you always had an answer. Has that always been like that?
Yeah, I think it has. I'm a pretty positive person. And like the work that we did together at NET, I love working with other people, getting to know folks and really helping people focus on what's their passion and what are they good at and how to help build them up. They can, whether it's do their work or live a vibrant personal life, we all have gifts and talents, and I to see what I can bring out in people.
You sound so modest. Give us a little taste of everything. Accomplished writer, artist, and the social media is really good, so we can see your art, the quilting, the painting, the writing. Give us a little taste. How does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, goodness. Well, I started my morning today talking with the family members of a couple of patients here in Maine, helping them make the arrangements they need to make for end of life occurrence. And then I moved to I'm trying to finish a quilt that I've been working on for almost a year so that I can give it to my son for Christmas. With decreasing vision, that's a little bit more challenging these days, so I have to take more time with that. I'm also putting together some drawings for another painting. I sort of moved from one project to the next.
What was your work at Nestle? That's nothing creative. Maybe we shouldn't say creative. It was a different way of creation, what we did there.
It was a different kind of creativity, and I loved that work. I have a technical background, and so I thrive on computers and data, which is kind of weird, but I was taught by some of the best people in Nestle how to do business analysis and look for needles in haystacks. The things I learned at Nestle sort of laid a foundation for me to be successful as the founder and executive director of a nonprofit organization. From the accounting to the business operations, both my work in the Navy and work with Nestle really prepared me in terms of operating a business and also how to be a leader in the community. I am grateful for every one of those days that I worked at Nestle.
Tell us more about how to be a leader and setting up a business. What does it take?
Well, I think it takes, maybe it's a certain amount of insanity. It takes a desire, or at least for me, it's been an understanding that it's necessary. Not everybody is running forward to do this kind of work, and somebody has to be doing it. I don't know. I guess it is a certain kind of insanity. If somebody had talked to me back in, say, 2007, when I was getting ready to leave Nestle, and said, you're going to get involved in politics in your state of Maine, you're going to help pass a law, and you're going to go found a nonprofit, I would have said, you're out of your mind. That was not in my plans. It was not anything I had anticipated doing. But pieces fell into place that just made it very obvious that that was my calling to do that kind of work. When opportunity knocks on the door, first you have to be willing to open the door, and then you have to be willing to say yes, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
That's the leadership that we have to exude. And you mentioned it very clearly. Not everybody is ready to open the door.
It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding work. And I think it's worthy work, but it is hard and it's challenging. And sometimes it's frustrating and it's lonely at times. In those kinds of situations, when you talk about being willing to open the door, we have to learn how to ask for help. We have to learn how to seek those people who can mentor us and help us so that we can pass that on to other people. I have learned a lot about asking for help, and that's not something that people easily surrender to.
I think we're here to help you for your next big steps that's coming your way.
And I appreciate that. It's asking for help. Well, I think, first of all, it's built into us throughout our lives that you have to be strong and you have to be independent and you have to do it all yourself. And that's great to a point, but there comes a point, even in the work we did at Nestle and the work that I do now, where you have to recognize a thing doesn't get done in a vacuum all by one person. It takes many people with a lot of helping hands and a lot of people focused on an end goal to make things happen. Essentially, for me personally, learning how to ask for help started about 4 years ago. I woke up in the morning and I had, in my left eye, I had these, I just call them swirly black things. It looked my eye was full of crows or blackbirds. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. It didn't look that when I went to bed last night. I had no idea what was happening. I called my eye doctor, and in a very calm voice, he said, "You need to come see me right now." I was, okay, that doesn't sound good. It was almost an hour drive to get up there. And I found out that my eye was bleeding on the inside. If you ever get swirly black things in your eye, go to your eye doctor right away.
Immediately.
It means you have internal bleeding in your eye. What had happened was, through the night, just a spontaneous injury to my retina. My retina cracked right through the center of my vision in my left eye for no apparent reason. It's not repairable. What they have since found out is I have a condition called pathologic myopathy, which causes a lot of stress on the internal parts of your eye because of the shape of your eyeball. So I'm losing my vision to that disease. I've had to ask for help because I had to stop driving back last year, right after Thanksgiving. I decided to take myself off the road because the last thing I want to do is cause an accident and hurt somebody. I didn't want to become one of those older people that the kids have to wrestle the keys away from you. So.
And now how is it to ask for help? Obviously you live in Maine, you need to be driven everywhere.
This is again where community comes in to play. If we sort of take that idea that we have to be strong, we have to be independent, we have to do it all ourselves, then we forget how to cultivate community and to develop relationships that are intimate and caring and supportive inside of a community environment. I'm a part of a women's writing group that was started by a friend of mine here on the island. Right when the pandemic hit, she's, we have to figure out how we're going to stay together and be creative, supportive of one another. These are like sisters to me. I have very dear neighbors and friends in this area who help me get to doctor's appointments. They call to see if I need groceries, or if I haven't gone for a while, I'll reach out to somebody and say, hey, if you're going to the grocery store, I'd love to go with you. There comes a point in everybody's life where you can't do it all by yourself. You have to learn how to ask for help.
Before we recorded, you mentioned something, we joke about it. You don't want to put the beef broth into your granola. How do you cope with this? Right. You said you have to slow down, and we're in such a fast-paced world, and we're like, everything has to be done right away. We have to learn from you, because I think that's also what we need to do. We should not be multitasking all the time. If you're forced to ask for help and also go slower.
Well, one of the things that I have been reflecting a lot on is how automated my life was. We do so many things without attention, without having to pay attention, because it's just automatic. when your eyesight starts failing, you can't do that anymore. The oatmeal incident was I had 2 cartons in my refrigerator. Both had a little bit of green on them. One had beef broth in it and the other had box milk in it. Without even thinking, I reached into the refrigerator and grabbed what I thought was the milk and poured on my oatmeal, and it happened to be beef broth. Now what do? If I can't tell the difference? I'm very fortunate. I have a social worker who comes to visit once a week from the Veterans Administration who's helping me learn how to adapt. She's, okay, here's what we do. We put a rubber band around the carton you want to remember as milk. So you can reach in the fridge and just feel for the rubber band. And then you're not relying on color and you're not relying on the printed matter on the carton. These are things that I have to learn now. It's like learning a new language, because it would never occur to me in my former life that I would need to differentiate which carton was milk. I'm learning things like that, how to manage folded money in your wallet if you can't see what denomination it is. The other day I handed a waitress a $100 bill. It's not very often I have a $100 bill in my wallet, but I thought I was handing her a 20. Now learning how do you differentiate money when it's all the same size here in the United States. Our bills are all the same size.
How is that?
You can fold them differently. You can use technology. There's an app you can put on your phone, and you point your phone at your money, and it'll tell you what the denomination is. It's technology. I cannot imagine what it was like to go blind even 40 years ago, 20 years ago even, with the technology that's available today.
I think technology has helped a lot. If you think of that app, isn't that genius?
It is.
Writing, you can make the letters bigger.
Yeah, and there's an app now, it's called, I can't remember the name of it, but it's about Seeing AI, I think, where you can point your phone and it will tell you, there's a blue car with a person next to it, or there's a tree and a picnic table. You can use your phone it's rudimentary, but you can use it as a set of eyes. Even program your phone. If you and I were neighbors, let's say, and I wanted to be able to identify you easily, I could program that app to know it was you. If you came and I pointed my phone at you, it would say, Suzanne Mueller is 3 feet away from you. It's pretty phenomenal.
It's also about safety. If somebody comes to your house, you don't recognize them, you also need to be on the safe side. These days, you never know.
The technology that they're coming out with is pretty phenomenal. They have these little labels you can stick on your spices. You put a label on the spice and it's a recording pen. You touch the label, you record what it is. And then the next time you touch the label, it'll say black pepper, whatever you recorded. So what you're putting on your food or in your cooking.
It's amazing. We hope that there will be many more great things so we can learn from you, but also the technology and AI can really help you get like a normal life. Obviously, my question is, how can we help you? That's how we initially connected, and we said, let's help Val and her family.
I appreciate that, Suzanne. And this is where having the courage to ask for help comes in. Ultimately, I'm going to need to live closer to my family. My son is about an hour and a half away, but I no longer drive. As my vision declines, it's going to be harder and harder for me to live independently. We're trying to raise money to build an addition onto his home. Some friends of mine started a GoFundMe. We're working towards getting the funds together. We've already started some of the work just to get rolling. There's a GoFundMe in my name that is set up to help us with the building costs. It's been such a humbling experience. The people I don't even know have donated to help. Yeah, that's the dream right now, is to build this little in-law addition onto his home. And then I get to live right next door to my grandkids.
Tell us about your grandkids. How old are they now?
They are 5 and 8. I can't believe, or 5 and 9, actually. I can't believe how fast they're growing. It seems like every time I turn around, they're having another birthday. It's Emmett and Fletcher, and they are just the apple of my eye. And I don't get to go visit them often enough anymore because I no longer drive. I'm only getting over there about once a month, which I realize is still a lot considering they could be living in another state or another country even, and I wouldn't get to see them as often.
Anything else that you would to share with the listeners? I think it's amazing to hear your story, and also all the listeners, we need to help. And one day we can come and visit to Maine to look at your edition.
Oh, I would definitely put out the red carpet for anyone. The thing that I find so amazing in a space that has been created by so many helping hands is like, I'll start crying if I talk too much about it. It's just amazing to me how community can come together to help people. I'm not used to being the recipient of that. This has been a journey for sure.
Thank you so much. You have given so much to others. So now it's our time to pay it back to you and also pay it forward. We wish you good luck, and we think of you and think of your journey. Thank you so much, Val.
Thank you very much.
What are you taking away? Helping others, asking for help now. This is not so easy, but we can help her. We can help her for the next steps. Thank you so much for all the support that you provide to her and her family. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday with interesting people who have donated their time. Now it's our time to donate something for them. And Take It from the Iron Woman is also the book, Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels.